Last week, President Harris and I stood in the United States Capitol to observe one of those before and after moments in American history.
Seriously, is there any other way I could have started my first video back in a week other than what you just watched? Good evening, Ape Nation. Guys, what's going on? It is Thursday, January 13th, 2022. And this week's been a little rough for the market, huh? How's your portfolio looking right now? Mine's pretty red. Everything seems to be taking a hit right now. And we got CPI data back this week. Inflation is at an all-time high since, I believe, 1980. We're just in at 7%. And the market has reflected that pretty clearly. Now, I want to talk tonight about a couple things. I'm going to get into where I've been as well. But I want to start tonight with who I feel is public enemy number one. And that is the man right here, Jay Powell and the Fed. And I want to get into the role that the Federal Reserve has played in all of the shenanigans that have been going on since, well, about mid-2019, why we find ourselves in this position that we are in right now. And honestly, I lay a lot of the blame at the feet of this man. And I'm going to get into exactly why that is. But before we get too far ahead of ourselves, man, it's been a while.
Cue the speeder.
This is the way.
Okay, guys, so let me tell you real quick what happened to me last week. Basically, real simple. Last Wednesday, we had a major ice storm up here in the Northeast. Overnight, I did not know that. And on back-to-back steps leaving my building, I fell really hard. The second time, I split my head open pretty bad. And because I've already had documented concussions in the past, I wanted to be safe and rather than sorry. And every time I sat down to record, I was having all kinds of issues with focus and the lights were bothering me. I was having trouble sleeping. My back was killing me. I couldn't sit upright in this chair without pain. And I started to feel better in about the last 48 hours. And tonight I said, let's give it a go and see how I feel. And I feel good so far. So we're going to keep rolling with this. Right now. Now, while I was out, a lot has happened. Tim Pool got swatted last week when he had the Officer Tatum on his show. Congresswoman AOC from New York, after her Miami vacation, has come down with a case of the sniffles, even though she is double vaxxed and boosted. Some emails were released by some journalists, and these documents appear to indicate that Dr. Fauci has a little bit of a problem with telling the truth. And Ethan Klein from H3H3 podcast called out Joe Rogan and gave him some health advice. This guy right here gave Joe Rogan health advice. And despite what Joe Biden claimed in his speech last week, he is still the sitting president right now of the United States, and Kamala Harris is still the VP. None of that's changed. But a lot has taken place up on Capitol Hill over the past week, and that's what I really want to get into. That's what really concerns retail and what's going on with AMC and the market itself. And let me just say this, if you can make it to the end of the video, I have a little clip of an interaction that took place earlier this week between Congress and a appointee by the Biden administration, someone who will be looking over the SEC. And if this video clip doesn't alarm you, I don't know what will. All right, so let's get into this. First, on January 10th, the second in command underneath Jerome Powell, who is the head of the Fed, the vice chair, Richard Clarida, had to step down, and actually had to step down 2 weeks early because there are some major connected concerns about some of the transactions that he made in his trading history back in 2020, right before the pandemic broke out. Now, you would think that the vice chair of the Federal Reserve in a time of uncertainty like we had back in March of 2020, would be doing everything within his means to make sure that the economy can stabilize itself. We don't let inflation get out of control. We do what we can to help the U.S. economy bounce back as fast as possible. But instead, he decided to take his time and make the best of it. And he took his stock options with the information that he, along with many members of Congress, were privy to, and made himself, according to Bloomberg, somewhere in the area of $1 to $5 million in profit. And now, because of what he did, he has to step down from his job, which is a shame. But really, with $2.5 million, is anyone really going to be sad losing their job? And you know, when I see an article like this, it's hard to act shocked that what's going on Wall Street right now, all the corruption that's going on, it's hard to understand why anyone, especially someone with a lot of money or power, would follow the rules that the people who are at above them or at the topper echelons of government and who are supposed to be enforcing these things are not following the rules themselves. It doesn't set the best example, if you get where I'm going with this. Now, something else happened important this week that I happened to catch, and that was at the Senate hearing committee for Jay Powell. They went to talk about debt up on Capitol Hill, and this senator here from Louisiana, John Kennedy, Senator Kennedy actually first speaks on another issue, not the debt. Roll the film.
Mr. Chairman, congratulations. I think it's fair to say that you are, and once you're confirmed, will continue to be one of the most powerful people in the world. So I want to begin today. I have some questions, but first, I have a plea. Above all else, above everything else on your plate, I ask that you please preserve the independence of the Federal Reserve. The last thing that America needs right now is to have the Federal Reserve politicized. It's the last thing the world needs right now. And believe me, the whole world is watching, including our enemies. Now, I get it. Our politics is polarized. I hope you'll remain blissfully ignorant of that. The dollar, and political fads come and go, but the dollar doesn't. I hope not. The dollar underpins the entire world economy. Politicize it at your own risk.
Now, Senator Kennedy has been around the block. The man's been in Congress a long time. And for those of you who attack me all the time in the comments, which I'm okay with, that's what they're there for, and tell me to shut up, stop talking about politics, this is an AMC channel. I just think that some people may not understand, but politics and what is going on right now go hand in hand. You can't have one without the other. They both need to coexist. And John Kennedy here is pleading with Jay Powell, please do not do what every other department in the country has done, and that is make it a left or right issue, a Democrat or Republican issue, a conservative versus whatever issue. Please don't do that. Because he realizes that the strength of the US dollar is extremely important. And if you look at the chart he's going to show right here, he's going to say that, you know, this debt is out of control. And if you look at the years on this chart, it's not just Joe Biden. This was Trump. This was Bush. This was Clinton. This was Barack Obama. It's just been going up, 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 up since 1990. So what he's saying is the world we live in 2022 is not the world we lived in 1990. It's not the world we lived in 2000. It's not even the world we lived in 2010. Right now, everything is being politicized. And damn it, if the Federal Reserve becomes politicized, this country is in big, big trouble. Way worse than what we're seeing right now. And in case you're still doubting me after hearing that they don't politicize anything with Wall Street or the economy or the Federal Reserve, I got another clip for you from the same gentleman from a day later. Roll the film.
Thank you for the question, Senator. Again, in my 14 years of experience, that is not an issue that has confronted me.
Okay. All right. Well, you've been nominated for the Southern District, I think. Is that right?
That is correct.
So you'll see a lot of securities cases?
Yes.
Okay. Tell me what SEC Rule 10b-5 is.
That's a rule that deals with fraud. I have not litigated a securities matter. If I were to confront one, I would thoroughly research Second Circuit and Supreme Court precedent, and I would apply the law to the facts.
Ms. Clark, you've been nominated to the Southern District of New York. It's where most of our securities cases are litigated. And SEC Rule 10b-5 is about as basic as you can get. You want to take another crack at that and tell me what Rule 10b-5 does?
Thank you again for the question, Senator. I regularly confront new issues of law in my practice, and when I do, I thoroughly research the issue.
I know you're going to thoroughly research it, but are you telling me today you don't know what Rule 10b-5 is?
I only have that basic understanding.
Okay. All right.
The fact that the Biden administration has appointed this woman, who, if confirmed, will be a lifetime appointee as a federal judge in the Southern District of New York, where all of the securities fraud hearings would be going on. The fact that she cannot tell Senator Kennedy what Rule 10b-5 is actually all about, just a real basic, like if she had just included the words insider trading, she would have been all right. And the fact that we might know what it is, yeah, maybe that's pretty cool. The fact that she doesn't is a concern. And so you're probably saying, well, why is this going to be the person who's going to be in charge of hearing all these cases? Why would they put someone who is unqualified, who can't give you a basic definition of one of the biggest issues that we probably have when it comes to security fraud? And as it is right now, this video is already way too long. So I will address that tomorrow. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about some more policies that the Fed has in place. See where possibly we're going. Guys, I'm still here. I'm sorry. I apologize. I had to leave. But I really need to heal up and get myself right before I was able to come back on here and make sure I'm reporting things correctly. I appreciate everyone who wished me. Thank you so much, guys. I love all you out there. I'm still holding this stock with you. I ain't going nowhere. This is Ape Nation. I'm the Massalorian, and I'm out.